Catherine Lungi. She is the author of The Inclusion Illusion, an HR guide to educating executives on DEI. And let me tell you, the USA right now is educating the world on DEI with our new presidential candidate. Very exciting time for this book to come out. Catherine, tell me about this book. Why you? Why did you want to write this book? Why is this topic important to you?
I felt called to write this book because of this book, White Women, What You Already Know About Your Own Racism and How to Do Better. Because a lot of DEI work is done by white women. And we have our own things about white supremacy to confront. And as a DEI practitioner, I get really, really frustrated dealing with human resources departments that are stuck in that are in their ways. So I wrote this book because HR people are long suffering, hardworking people who do want to make a difference and just can't because they're really busy and they can't get out of their own ways. So I wanted to give them something that would help them influence, because from their point of view, the biggest challenge is influencing senior leadership. I wanted to give them something that would solve that problem, but give them so much more, which is their own personal freedom around DEI and their ability to actually make a difference in it.
Just a quick, I don't know, demo or like specific example of how do most HR executives try and influence their bosses or upper management now? And what's maybe different, or can you give us a scenario that might look different with the inclusion illusion?
Yeah, and I invite you to go on the journey with me and think from your own personal perspectives when you're trying to influence someone that you perceive is in a power position compared to you. So, what most HR people and what most people do is they try to convince, they try to give business cases and data, which, by the way, is all very valid. They try to make the moral arguments. And
I've done
it's a
all
lot
of
of,
this. I set up, first of all, I would be nervous first. Then I would set up a meeting and like be bold enough to ask for a meeting. And then I would have like all the data ready. And
yeah.
then didn't always go great. Although people were
And
usually
then
nice. They're like, oh, that's very helpful. And then nothing would happen.
yeah. And that's because what is missing is understanding the other person's perspective, like where they're coming from. So if you're a person of color, this is dealing with white people. If you're a woman, especially a white woman, this is dealing with white men. Um, you've got to really get over in their point of view and their perspective and their lived experience. And that means before you can even petition them for anything that you want for the organization, you have to be able to hand over heart get them and what they want. Even if you think that's stupid or wrong or unfair, you've got to give that up before you can even have any conversation. And the book takes you through the step-by-step journey to go through that process. You can't see what you can't see. And also, you don't know, you could have a desire that you didn't know that you had by someone actually expressing it. So I play to both ends of the spectrum. So I try to educate white men on the patriarchy. And I reach across the aisle, or I like pull up with my white privilege women of color. So I'm constantly working from both angles. And by the way, that's for everyone. So there will always be someone with more privilege and someone with less privilege across any kind of diversity lines. So if each and every one of us was always working from both angles, we would all be off. And I find in my work trying to dismantle the patriarchy that a lot of men haven't even considered, like, oh, like what would it be like if I could leave work early to pick up the children, or what would it be like if I could just take a mental health day, or what would it be like, and it's like that's gender equality for men that 98% of men haven't even considered. So
Yeah.
it's like if we look to the people who have less privilege, they can usually reveal something to us like, wow, to have like interracial sisterhood, like authentic interracial sisterhood. Because us white women can be very, very mean. I mean, there's a whole like just watch Mean Girls on Netflix. Like we can be super mean, like the meanest. But like the opportunity to actually have like, what if I was in groups of women who pulled each other up, where 44,000 of them raised millions in 24 hours for their lady? Like, what if we combined that power? I mean, that's a different world to live in.